Now, be aware when we talk about prosperity, oftentimes individuals relegate it to just like material things in the world, gross materialism. When we talk about prosperity, I like to speak of it more as the consciousness of having all of your needs met, all of your legitimate needs being met. It's a feeling tone. It's an awareness. You can go to any place in the world. You can go anywhere you want to go and have this inner feeling that all of your needs are met. And then that inner feeling then transmutes itself into your legitimate needs being met on time and in time, as we like to say. Peace and riches blessings. I am Michael B. Beckwith, the host of Take Back Your Mind. Peace and riches blessings, and welcome to the Take Back Your Mind podcast. Normally, you see me with a guest, but today I'm rolling solo just to have a wonderful conversation and a wonderful teaching come through. And I'm knowing that you'll enjoy what unfolds here. I am Michael B. Beckwith, the founder of the Agape International Spiritual Center, which is the main sponsor of the Take Back Your Mind podcast. And I've had the privilege of teaching over 4 decades. And I'm as enthused today as I was excited years ago. There's been no letdown in it. I hardly even think about the fact that it's been 4 decades. You know, I was teaching in the 70s. And the principles are the same. The principles haven't, and the laws haven't changed, but I've been able to clock and watch my own unfolding, my own embodiment of these teachings over these years. And I can absolutely say that the version of myself today is a greater version than it was in the 70s, even though he was a great guy too. But this is what we're here to do. We're here to become greater versions of ourselves, not just to manipulate the external world to get what we think we want, but to actually become more of ourselves. And so the theme of this particular podcast is prosperity. All needs met. That particular theme grew in popularity back in the 70s and 80s as people began to use and synthesize spiritual principles and apply them to specific areas of one's life. Rather than this generally growing spiritually, principles began to be applied to health, body temple, began to be applied to relationships, began to be applied to open oneself up to a vision of their life, began to be applied to even prosperity and abundance. So it was suggested that I take a podcast and just dedicate it to particular structures of our life. And so today, it's prosperity. Now, be aware when we talk about prosperity, oftentimes individuals relegate it to just like material things in the world, gross materialism. And I'll dare say that at times people have become addicted to the law of attraction or to the law of manifestation in a way that they become hyper-focused on getting something in the world that they think will make them happy. And a law is a law is a law. You can basically become hyper-focused and begin to imagine and feel and see that you have a particular thing and bring it into manifestation. When we talk about prosperity, I like to speak of it more as the consciousness of having all of your needs met, all of your legitimate needs being met. It's a feeling tone. It's an awareness. You can go to any place in the world. You can go anywhere you want to go and have this inner feeling that all of your needs are met. And then that inner feeling then transmutes itself into your legitimate needs being met on time and in time, as we like to say. Whether that be coin of the realm, or whether that be something that you need to further your mission or your vision, or whether that's an opportunity that needs to be seen and caught by you in order for you to deliver your giftedness in a shape or in a way that benefits others, including yourself. All needs met is a frequency. I speak about it often at Agape and try to pull people into this dynamic by asking the question, what would it feel like to have all of your needs met? What if all of your needs were met? What would that feel like? And then we go into a kind of a meditation. It's not kind of, we go into a meditative state and actually feel that. As I'm speaking to you in this moment, allow for yourself to begin to feel the tuning fork effect that's occurring and begin to notice what it feels like to have all of your needs met without clamoring or chasing something outside of yourself right now. When you clamor and chase, you're telling the universe you don't have it. When you stop and feel, wow, all of my needs are met right now, this instant, you see, you're sending out a signal that you have what you need and you need what you have. And then manifestation does occur. Out picturing does occur. Demonstration does occur. From the feeling tone of all needs met. This is a spiritual principle. What is the principle? That thought and that feeling is matched by universal law. And that thought and that feeling absolutely transmutes itself into speech, behavior, perception, and actions that bring forth exactly what you need, sometimes even before you need it. So we're learning to live in a state of all needs met, which is a training that keeps worry and doubt, fear, anxiousness, and anxiety at bay. So you're not anxiously wanting something. You begin to become aware of anxiousness and anxiety. You don't ever say, I'm anxious. You say anxiety is here or anxiety is passing through. You can say I'm experiencing anxiety, anxious, but you don't put the I am. You don't use your I am around anxious. You don't say I am anxious, even though sometimes medical professionals may say that in a diagnosis or a prognosis. You never take that label on. Your I am is reserved for labels that carry spiritual qualities. I am an emanation of God. I am an opening for vast prosperity and joy and love to express through. I am healthy. I am vibrant. I am receptive to more good than I could possibly imagine. Whenever you use the word I am, you're identifying yourself with some nature of spiritual quality. This is the right use of spiritual principle. You can say you're temporarily experiencing something, the body is experiencing something, the mind is experiencing something, but it's never your identity. These are basic building blocks to harmonizing, I call it harmonizing prosperity, harmonizing abundance, wealth, and well-being. You see? Now, this gives vent to, we live in a field of infinite potential, infinite possibilities. The universal law matches the vibration and frequency and the chronic thoughts that we have within our awareness. That's law. And then we begin to live in what Jesus, the Christ, called, and I call it the lilies of the field consciousness. He said, notice the lilies of the field, they spin and toil not. They're not anxious for tomorrow. They're not worrying how they're going to clothe themselves, you see. And they are arrayed with such beauty and such love and such abundance Obviously, I'm paraphrasing that teaching. We want to live in the lilies of the field consciousness, which means this. There are aspects of your body temple that you do not consciously direct. You do not consciously direct the digestion of your food, the assimilation of your food, that food becoming muscle and sinew and bone, blood. No, you don't do that. You eat. You don't consciously direct the visual cortex that allows you, when you go outside, to see different colors, yellow and blue and purple. You don't do that consciously. That happens on an unconscious, subconscious level. So these particular things of the body temple, we can describe that. That's the lilies of the field consciousness. You're just in that consciousness. Those things are happening automatically. Digestion, assimilation, elimination, transmutation into bone and sinew, brain cells, new neural pathways being created every time you have a new thought. There's certain things that happen automatically that you don't consciously direct. What we want to do is we want to expand the lilies of the field consciousness to other areas of our life. We want to expand the lilies of the field consciousness to coin of the realm, to physical, mental, emotional prosperity, so that we're not running around thinking about these things anymore. It becomes systematic and automatic, because inside our chronic thought is a prayer without ceasing, meaning a conscious realization that the source of all creation is moving through and as us. It's an inner feeling tonality. Look at the lilies of the field and see how they're not spinning and toiling. They're not anxious. They're not worried about anything. They're just, glowing with the beauty of God, you see. We want to live at that level. That's the lilies of the field consciousness. And the lilies of the field consciousness can be described as a life that's lived without struggle, knowing that what you need will be provided, is constantly being provided, as you are eliminating the obstructions of worry, doubt, fear, anxiousness, and anxiety. So a lot of the inner work is actually to keep coming back to this place of the feeling tone of all of my needs are met, and I'm not anxious about anything. Now, of course, that becomes kind of oxymoronic or a kind of difficult for people, because sometimes people have developed a habit of worrying, thinking that if they worry really hard, they're going to have a demonstration of something good. It's like they don't want to just sit there and have this feeling that all needs are met. They got to worry about it. They got to, oh my God, what if this doesn't happen? Then that's going to happen. If this doesn't take place, then I'm going to be evicted. If this doesn't happen, they go down a worry lane, thinking that if they worry properly, then something's going to change. No. That's so far from the truth. Worry doesn't pay any dividends. Worry and doubting and fearing is like paying interest on money that you haven't borrowed. And so you're learning a different habit. You're learning a different mental, emotional, and feeling tone habit. My need is met. I don't know how it's going to happen. It's not my job. I don't know how I'm going to digest my food. I don't know how I'm going to assimilate the food and turn it into muscle. No, you don't. What do? You stop worrying about it. You worry, you get indigestion. You eat properly. And then that inner mechanism takes over. Same way. You begin to feel that all of your needs are met. You feel a deep sense of prosperity. This is a feeling nature universe. The universe responds to your feeling. And then without you knowing how it is to happen, serendipity, spontaneous goodness, coincidence, these things begin to take place in your life as a sign that you're on the right track, you see. And so I call that the lilies of the field consciousness. Now, the beautiful part of all this is that you can, for lack of a better word, train yourself into that dynamic. You could actually take moments in your life throughout the course of your day You look at your watch, or a lot of people don't wear watches anymore. You look at your mobile device and you see the time, and every hour on the hour, you just take a breath. Wow, my need is met in this instant. My legitimate needs, they're met right now. I don't have to worry about the next hour. Right now, my need is met. You do that on a regular basis throughout the course of the day, and that becomes the course of the week, and that becomes the course of the month, and that becomes the course of months, and that becomes the course of a year. Your whole inner landscape changes from worry to, oh my God, all of my needs are met. Your perception begins to change, and you see opportunities where you saw blockages and roadblocks before. You see possibilities where you saw walls of doubt. You begin to see differently based on this inner feeling of a sacred practice of stopping on a regular basis, breathing in, wow, all of my needs are met right now. And then that extends into the next moment, the next moment, the next moment. So one, we've discovered that there is a universal law or principle, the law of mind in action, a responsive law that responds to your chronic thought and your chronic feeling. It's a feeling universe. Do you realize there is nothing wrong with you waking up in the morning and feeling prosperous, even if the bank account is showing negative or limitation? You can still feel prosperity. You can look out your window perhaps and see the plethora of leaves on a tree. You can go to the beach and see millions and billions of bits of sand, all representing abundance. You begin to see all of this and begin to feel it. And there will be a response lawfully, you see. Or you can become hyper-focused on what you think you don't have. And what you're hyper-focused on has a tendency to replicate itself. So we're talking spiritual practice, abundance, harmonizing prosperity, all needs met. Just to number it, number 3, I've said over the years that, and I've just mentioned it in this particular session, we have to be conscious of what we put after I am. The I am presence is the presence of God as your very life and being. And it's always describing something when you use it in language. I am happy, I am joyful, I am loving, I'm eternal, I'm timeless, I'm ageless, I'm available to more good than I could possibly imagine. And so we always want to be conscious and optimistically cautious about what we put after I am. Now, 2 great phrases, I am and I have. Very important. There's a phrase, scriptural phrase that says, to he or she who has, more is given. And to he or she who has not, that which they have shall be taken away. Now, sometimes when people read that, actually in the original scripture of that, there's no mention of the feminine aspect. It just says to he, but I always add the masculine and the feminine. When people hear that, they kind of take it personally sometimes. It sounds not good. It's like, wait a minute. To them that have, more is given? And they that have not, even that which they have can be taken away. That's not right. That's not fair. Why is that? Now, this law is a law. It's not speaking about anything personal. It's just saying this. If you feel that you have, that becomes your law. If you feel that you have not, that becomes your law. So it's not personal, saying, well, the haves should have more and the haves and the have-not should not have. No, it's not saying that. It's saying protect your consciousness, lift your awareness to feeling I am and I have. I am prosperity. I have all that I need. I am abundance. I have all that I need. I have all that I need. I have. And you know what happens? You can begin to train yourself to actually look for the resources that you have in your life that sometimes you don't pay attention to because you might be hyper-focused on what you think you don't have. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough friends. I don't have. And your whole conversation may be about what you don't have. And the law says, to he or she who has, more is given. To he or she who has not, even that which they have shall be taken away. So in this all needs met prosperity modality, this all needs met prosperity teaching today, you're going to begin to watch your mouth and use I am and I have constructively. I am the image and likeness of God, and I have many opportunities for success. I'm an opening for the place of God, and there's many possibilities for prosperity to show up in my life. You're going to begin to describe your life differently with the use of the I am and I have consciousness. So you are using the law properly. The law obviously can be used either way. Just as electricity can be used either way. Electricity can be used to light a house, or electricity can be used to kill somebody in capital punishment whether you agree or don't agree with, killing someone. It's still just electricity. So the law is the law is the law. What are you using your I am and I have language for? To create an opening for greater prosperity and greater health? Or to diminish your perception and be always describing what you don't have? It's up to you. So with this I am and I have consciousness, in my book, that's about prosperity and living from the overflow, I invite people to do crazy vibrational practices, crazy vibrational intentionality beyond reason. That is, take some time in the course of your day during your week and go way beyond what you think is possible and establish a crazy vibrational intentionality, a dream so big that it's almost ridiculous to your reasonable mind. Begin to vibrate at the level of having so much money that you can assist so many people. You're so healthy that there's so many opportunities around you. Just crazy intentionality vibration. Just activate and re-enchant your imaginal realm with a deep feeling, not just the basics. This is not against the law for you to have a crazy intentional vibration about your entire day and your entire week. This is going to be the greatest week of my life. Oh my God, I just see there's so many possibilities coming into my life, so many opportunities. Oh my God, I am rich beyond measure. So many gifts flowing into my life. Everything is working together for my good. You just begin to think about it and feel it way beyond anything you've ever experienced before. You want to do that at least once a week. You want to stretch the imagination. Again, we're not speaking gross materialism here. Harmonizing prosperity and abundance. This is the activation of spiritual substance that's everywhere. And your rising and demonstrating this never takes away from anyone else. This is why I always love the quote from the Bhagavad Gita that states, in substance, you take abundance from abundance, yet abundance still remains. That's the Bhagavad Gita. You can take abundance from abundance, but abundance is still there. You haven't even touched it. That's the kind of universe we're living in. We're living in a universe of abundance, a multidimensional universe, shot from the cosmos itself, shot from the heart mind of the infinite. Abundance is built into the program. Every rose that grows does not say, oh my God, if I grow and come into full bloom, I'm going to take away all the sunlight that the other roses have and they won't be able to grow. No, it blooms, baby. And the other roses bloom under the same sunlight. So you have a crazy intentionality. And you never allow it to creep into your awareness. Well, if I become super healthy or super prosperous or whatever the case may be, that's going to diminish somebody else. No, that's you living in a world of lack, of gross materialism, where people live from a win-lose consciousness. They win, somebody else loses. I probably shouldn't denigrate Neanderthals, but it's kind of a Neanderthal consciousness of thinking only within the win-loss situation. And there are people that live like that. The gross materialists, if they win, they want somebody else to lose. They are what we call our young, immature brothers and sisters on the planet that think like that and live like that. Because we live in a field of abundance in which everyone can win. If you're in business, everyone can just win in life. So going back to this consciousness of imagining something so wild and so crazy. I used to have people in workshops lay on the ground. And it was in this particular place, there were speakers underneath the floor. So when you laid on the ground, you'd get the music and the vibration of the speaker going into your body. And I would turn it on and play very powerful music. Then I would have them let their imagination go crazy about possibility for their life. Just imagine all kinds of wonderful things happening. Now, it isn't about necessarily those things happening, but it is about you stretching your consciousness so that or something better can happen. And then I would play these loud applaud tracks in which after a person had been vibrating at that level for a while, I'd play applause and the entire universe would applaud them for expanding their awareness to more good than they could possibly imagine. I one time used to carry a picture of this automobile in my car. The automobile cost like $800,000 or $900,000. I didn't want the automobile. I just had the picture of the automobile in my wallet. So when I looked at it, it reminded me of the fact that if I wanted to, I could buy the car. I had enough substance everywhere. I could buy that car if I wanted to. And I didn't want the car. The car was ugly. And I would never go out and buy a car that cost $800,000. That's a silly use of money in my life. I'd rather for the money to be used for something else. But I used to carry that picture in my wallet just to have the feeling, if I wanted, just to have the feeling of having that much substance. You see, you understand what I'm saying? I let my mind just go crazy about that. And you don't have to do that. But once a week, you want to let your mind go crazy with possibility. Expansion. You're so joyful. You're so happy. You are donating and giving computers to every single student in the school district in which you live. You are building a whole new building for your spiritual community. You're supporting this nonprofit that is helping women who've been sexually trafficked get back in their life. You just dream big. And that it may not be your dharma to do that specifically. Maybe you're going to plant 1 million trees so that we have enough oxygen on the planet. Or it may be something else. It may be something totally different. The idea is you let your mind go crazy about possibility so that the mind becomes stretched. And a mind that's stretched by a new idea can never go back to its old shape. Crazy vibrational intentionality. You see. What's the theme of this? Living in the frequency of all needs met. Harmonizing prosperity. Not materialism. Harmonizing prosperity. You're expanding your awareness to realize that you're in a multi-dimensional universe, a cosmos that only knows abundance. It only knows spinning out solar systems, galaxies, quarks, planets, living biology. That's all the mind of God knows. He just spins this out of nothing. And you're the image and likeness of God, which means you have the same faculty. What are you using your imagination for? The original presence is spinning out cosmos, multidimensional universes, galaxies, solar systems, planets, and living biology, including you, and then gifted you with the same faculty. What are you doing with your imagination? Are you harnessing it to worry, doubt, and fear? Are you going crazy with it? Oh my God, I'm imagining I'm an instrument of a world that works for the highest and best within us all. Fill in the blanks for yourself, whatever your gift is. You see? I look back on some of the things I've had an opportunity to participate in my own life. And I'm telling you, most of these things were not on a vision board. They just emerged from the expansion of my awareness. I remember when I spoke at the United Nations. I remember when I worked with His Holiness Dalai Lama. I remember when I gave Nelson Mandela the Season for Nonviolence Award. I remember me and Brother Tutu, Bishop Tutu, receiving the Dr. King Award from Morehouse College together. I have Sri Ariadne from Sri Lanka, who got rid of the caste system. He's a good buddy of mine. And I remember facilitating a 1 million-person meditation with him. It was really 1 million people, not just like social media 1 million. It was like a lot of people in this small city. And I look back at all these wonderful things I've had the opportunity to participate in, not including almost 40 years of teaching every week at the Agape International Spiritual Center, every single week. I don't think I've maybe missed in 39 years. I could count on one hand the Sundays or Wednesdays that I didn't speak. I was either out of town or I needed rest, and that may have happened maybe 5 times in almost 40 years. That's Iron Man status. But I didn't start saying, when I surrendered myself to being a teacher of God consciousness, I didn't say, oh, I want to go 40 years and never miss a day. That wasn't in my mind. It wasn't in my vision board, but it's just, I look back and it's happened. And now I have the privilege of going around the world teaching. I have the privilege of doing a podcast. I have the privilege of dealing with millions of people on the podcast, millions of people, 189 countries from Agape. I just wanted to be of service. It is said that if you're a teacher or something like that, and if you change the life of one person, you've accomplished it. Hey, I quit. I've done my one person. I'm kidding. I've always wanted to do that. So I've done my one person. I'm out. Anyway, the point being, let your imagination go crazy at least one time a week. I'm not talking just gross materialism. Just let your mind go crazy about the possibility of how you can live your life. And don't ask how it is to happen. Just get into the crazy, vibrational intentionality, all of that zest, all of that joy, all of that happiness, all of that bliss, all of that ecstasy, all of that enthusiasm. Just get into it. Go outside, put your feet in the grass and say, woo, all of my needs are met. Oh, I'm helping so many people. Oh, my family doesn't have to worry about anything. Oh my God. Just go out and be crazy with it. At least once a week. And then let the how be up to the universe as to how that's to manifest according to your uniqueness. You see? According to your uniqueness. You have a soul contract. That is, you have a contract with your soul before you got here to be about certain things on the planet. And I'm simply jogging your memory of that soul contract. Your soul contract may not be a jockey. Because you might be 7 feet tall. Or your soul contract may not be to be a great athlete and dunk basketballs and make millions of dollars and go build a school system because maybe you're only 5'4". But your dream is as big as anyone that's within your soul. Your soul doesn't have a size. Your soul is eternal, timeless, and ageless. Carries so much. You want to activate that, okay? Now, 5. Directional willingness, not willfulness. I have taught over the years that where there is willfulness, you create a vibrational wall. Where there's willingness, you help create a way. So you're learning to grow with what I call directional willingness. I'm willing to be healthy. I have a deep and abiding willingness to be prosperous. I'm willing, I'm available, I'm open. It's happening now. I'm willing, I'm available, it's opening. There's an opening here. It's happening now. I'm willing, I'm available, I'm open. It's happening now. It's a willingness. So you're not trying to force something. Prosperity, we could say it's your birthright. It's innate to you. It's already here. Everyone has the equal portion of it. Talking about the energy of it, not the physical manifestation of a bunch of stuff. I saw a television program the other day, just a snippet of it, but the gentleman who was, I thought it was very telling, the gentleman who was the protagonist of the program had been recently fired. Somebody had stolen his job or to steal his money. I'm not getting into the whole thing, but he'd been living in this very wealthy circle in this neighborhood. So now he was without a job. And all of a sudden he's at a party and he's noticing all these wealthy people sniffing wine and paying $30,000, $40,000 for these bottles of wine. They had these cigars. And I remember him saying, these people were so bored. They had so much money that they were creating a ritual out of nothing. How the wine smelled, and this wine is so rare. It's $30,000 a bottle, and this cigar is coming from Cuba, and it's cost this money. He realized these were called, and then they had, all these people had these different kind of watches. This watch cost $250,000. They weren't even wearing the watches. They were just collecting them. This watch, and they had taken something and added meaning to nothing. He called it, in this program, he called it the objects of wealth. But they were so bored with their life that they were creating meaning out of things that were meaningless because they hadn't discovered real wealth, which is a soul faculty, you see. And many of them had used sheer willpower over people and things like that to make money, in some cases to steal. He kind of like woke up from this dream of, I've been living my life like this, sniffing wine, sniffing cigars, as if that had some kind of intrinsic meaning and value, because the cigar cost this much money and the wine cost, it was just like he was having an awakening. The point being, you live in a field of abundance. Abundance is everywhere. What are you going to do with it? You're going to activate it. And what? Willingness means you're being pulled by a vision of the gift you are to give the planet before you leave. I teach everyone has the same purpose, but we all have different missions. Our purpose is to reflect and to reveal the infinite. Doesn't matter what you call the infinite. You can call it cosmic mind. You can call it love, beauty, intelligence. You can call it God. You can call it God Almighty, God All Beauty, God All Joy. You can call it the presence. There's never an absence. You can call it life. But everyone has a gift they are to give, or gifts. That articulation of that gift is a vision. We're asking for a vision. And when you're pulled by a vision and you become willing, 1985. 84, 85. I had a vision of agape. I had more than one, but I can remember this one distinctly. I'm seeing another one right now, too. I'll start with this one. In this lucid dream, I was walking down the street. And in this dream, I was really small. And there was this building with all of this music coming out of it. And people that were coming out of it were just beautiful, shining with light and glowing. And I can even mention some of the, I won't mention, but there were certain people in that building that I didn't know at the time, what we world would call famous people. And people were coming out, they were transformed. And the inner voice said, "This is what we want you to do, Michael." And in the dream, I was really small, and this dream was really, the vision was really big. And I said, "What? I don't know how to do that. How am I going to do that?" And they said something along the line. They said, this is what they said. They said, "You say yes, we'll do the rest." I can see it as distinct as it was in the early 80s. You say yes, we'll do the rest. It was like the angelic realm speaking to me. I had to cultivate my willingness. Ultimately, I said yes, the divine yes. I said yes. And things unfolded. And now, all these years later, I've had the privilege and the honor to be in so many people's homes through virtual media. Millions of people, because I said yes. It wasn't willful, I was willing. I caught the vision and articulated it. I remember another time I was in Puerto Vallarta, probably that same year. I used to be the director of training at a World Ministry of Prayer, and I had taken a vacation, and I saw this sacred center in this vision. I remember coming back and telling the people there that I was going to resign and start a spiritual community. I won't go into that whole story, but and as I became willing, I didn't know how to do it, but it unfolded. And so, in substance, where there is willingness, there is a way. When there is willfulness, there can be a wall. I want it this way. It has to be done that way. No, broad strokes. In the vision process, we ask, what is it that's trying to emerge in my life right now? What gift am I to give? What is God's idea of itself as my life? We open ourselves up to a vision, and then ultimately we become willing. And then there's the locking in the practices of the inner tonality of prosperity. Years ago, I called it the feeling tone. I remember at Agape, we had a singing group that we named the feeling tones. We were emphasizing that the feeling tone is very, very important. At the very beginning of this teaching, I talked about coming into the feeling tone of all needs met. I said to you at that time, it's not against the law to feel it, even if it hasn't manifested yet. It's the right use of the law. So at the course of the week, as I indicated, you have to stop and say in substance, what does it feel like to have all my needs met? And you have to go in, you have to feel it. And then you have to activate certain practices. For instance, you mind your conversation. You begin to affirm the truth of your being. You begin to say things like, all of my needs are met all the time. That begins to be a part of your conversation, your inner dialogue, your affirmation, your declaration, your decree. You begin to, at times, take a deep inhalation, sustain the inhalation, and while you are sustaining the inhalation, you give yourself permission to feel what it feels like to have all of your needs met. Then you release. You do that a number of times. The very nervous system of the body temple will begin to acclimate itself around the breath capacity of you saying the truth while you're holding the breath, your body will change. It will support you rather than be a retainer of worry, doubt, and fear thoughts. It starts to be a retainer of empowering feeling tonalities that allow you to be more prosperous. What's the key there? Daily practice. So this is what you don't do. You don't let the ego say to you, oh my God, I got to do this every day. Every single day for the rest of my life, I'm going to stop and be grateful and give thanks and affirm the truth of my being. No. Just today. Every day is just today. I imagine you don't wake up every single day and say, I'm going to have to brush my teeth every day until I leave the body temple. I'm going to have to clean the body every day. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to have to eat something nutritious every day. No, you don't. You deal with today. You brush your teeth today. You clean your body temple today. You hydrate today. You eat nutritious food today. But you don't let the mind go crazy and say, oh my God, I'm going to have to do this every day. I'm going to have to take a shower every day. Oh my God, I don't know if I can handle it. No, same thing with spiritual practice. You don't say, oh, I'm going to have to wake up every day and be grateful and affirm that all of my needs are met every day. Oh God, no. You just do it. You just do it today. You do it today. And the next day is just today. Until today becomes to now. Now. And then, if you forget, the mind tells you you're too busy, begin again today. You don't beat yourself up, tear yourself down because you missed a day or whatever the case may be. You just do it today. You just do it. What are you doing? You're building new neural pathways. You have old neural pathways that may have been built on fear, doubt, worry, lack, limitation, not enoughness, scarcity. And then that's been producing perceptions, and then that's been producing experiences because you can only experience your own perception. Now you're building new neural pathways. Again, you're not doing willpower trying to make something happen. You're stating truth and you're becoming willing. You start to see the world anew because you're new. Then you see opportunities and possibilities where you used to see roadblocks and hindrances. So what is that? That's affirmation. Prayer. I mentioned the breath, using the breath. And in the beginning stages, you can use visualization when your mind is going crazy, when you're doing crazy, intentional expressions. You can visualize, you kind of see yourself living a life you want to live. You just see it in your mind's eye. Oh, there you are, driving your car, making a nice deposit, purchasing something for someone you love. You can visualize. Remember, visualization it's a good beginning tool. It's not something that you're going to bank on because you always want to say something to this effect that this or something better. You don't want to be stuck in what you're visualizing because the universe may have something better for you, but it becomes a jump start to you seeing beyond your present condition. So this breath, this declaration, decree, and affirmation, this prayer, all of these are important. All of these are important. And then there's a big one. In every path with heart, every path speaks about this one, and that's forgiveness. All forgiveness is self-forgiveness. You're releasing rancor and resentment, sometimes even hate. From who? Not the other person or the other people. You're releasing it from yourself. You may have perceived that the other person said something about you, gossiped about you, stole something from you, did something to you. Maybe they did. But you holding on to the rancor, it's not hurting them. It's debilitating your inner systems. You could develop an ulcer from resentment. You can develop the condition for the fomenting of some disease from resentment and rancor. You can. So all forgiveness is self-forgiveness. Also, unforgiveness sometimes lies in the thought that somebody owes you something. They owe me an apology. They need to make amends. They should do something. And you can go even further into the material world. They owe me some money. The person scammed me out of some money. I lost money based on them. They stole money from me. They owe me that money. Now, here's the deal. In the world of polarity, in the world that we can see, that might be true. They may owe you some money. They may owe you an apology. But if you hold on to it incorrectly, your message to the universe is, I don't have something because they took it. I don't have something. They owe me an apology. I don't have something. So what are you doing? Back to the electricity model again. You're using the law incorrectly. You're telling the universe you don't have something. Doesn't matter the genesis. Whether it's somebody neglect or somebody's ulterior motive. Doesn't matter. You're still stuck with, I don't have something because of them. You don't want to say that to the universe. You want to forgive and accept that all of your needs are met. Now, of course, in the physical realm, somebody may owe you something. You might, in certain cases, do something legal to get it back, but you're not getting into the legality of that. You're letting the attorneys handle that. You're operating from, I forgive, and I have what I need. That's where you're living. The attorneys may be in the muck of this person slandered this person's name or this person stole something. That's their job, not yours. Your job is to forgive. So you're not sending out a signal of not having or having a signal of resentment that's only depleting your own inner resources, blocking the flow of God from flowing through you. Forgiveness is key. Key. And it's the key that opens the door. Sometimes if people are having a difficult time manifesting, sometimes the boulder and the blockage is unforgiveness. You have to examine yourself and see if you're holding any animosity, even against yourself for making a mistake. Doesn't matter whether it's for you, your dad, your mom, cousins, teacher in high school, somebody recently that says something about you or did something to you. Doesn't matter. All forgiveness is self-forgiveness. You release and let go. In my book, Spiritual Liberation, I have some forgiveness practices that you can follow. Forgiveness is key. I wrote about this recently, and that is spiritual discernment. You have to be able to tell the difference between the world as it appears to be and the world as it really is. Mystical consciousness and metaphysical teachings say the same thing, that the presence of the living one, called by many names, is everywhere, fully present everywhere. It's only missing an experience when it's suppressed by limited perception, but it's still everywhere. So when you look out upon the world and you look at the news or you read a newspaper, you're seeing a blueprint of someone's perception of the idea that they're presenting it to you. And it's laden with all kinds of loaded opinions and points of view and how you should think about it. You have to be able to tell the difference between that and the real world. The real world is full of infinite potential, infinite possibility. It's oozing with love. Then there's the pseudo world. the world of experience based on the perceptions and beliefs and opinions of humans that are projected onto the screen of life and condensed itself into a world of appearances. Now, when you're able to clearly discern between the two through your prayer and meditation, you can be in the world, but you're not of it anymore. You're like a regular old human just walking in the world, but you're of a higher frequency. You're of a higher dynamic. 91st Psalm speaks of being in the secret place of the Most High under the shadow of the Almighty, making the eternal host, making God our habitation, living in that presence. Doesn't mean you deny negative stuff that's happening on the planet, but you're not living in it. I shall make the Most High my habitation. So you become less and less touched by the world as it appears to be, and more embraced by the world as it really is. God is everywhere. Love is everywhere. Abundance is everywhere. Infinite opportunities are everywhere. Infinite potential is everywhere. Infinite possibilities are everywhere. That's real. So you're either being realistic or real. Memorex or real. With every prayer and every insight, you're coming more and more into the real. Coming out of the matrix of separation. This is all about harmonizing prosperity, wealth, and abundance, which are spiritual qualities and not just gross materialism. But it shows up as coin of the realm, opportunities, possibilities. It shows up as great things, but they're emanations shot from the source of all creation. You want the source. The same way you can pick an apple from an apple tree. Apple tree doesn't care. The source of it is going to bring more apples. Prosperity just isn't in the apples. Prosperity and the wealth and abundance is in the roots, connected to the earth. First the roots, then the fruits. You become deeply rooted in the spiritual practices. The fruits will show up by law. Now, this is a great activation that you want to practice. It's the celebration and the activation of the good that happens for others. Whenever something good happens for someone else, you want to celebrate and develop an activation where you're grateful and thankful and celebratory about any good news that happens to anyone. The ego may feel jealous or envious, because the ego is living in separation and lack. Oh my God, why does he get all the good parts? Oh my God, why does he have so much luck? Not enough for the rest of us. No. There's enough of everything for everyone. So you must develop a practice when every time you hear something good that's happened for somebody, you inwardly celebrate it. Because you are connected to them. And if you can see the quality that they're emanating and you celebrate it, it becomes more active in you. Don't let the ego take you down. The ego is not your amigo where this is concerned. Sometimes the ego is jealous, sometimes it's envious. Jealousy affirms a quality. Jealousy says, I want what they have. Envy says, I don't want them to have what they have. Envy is jealousy on steroids. People that are envious will say, oh, I don't want them to be successful. Jealous people say, I don't mind them being successful. I just want their success. I want what they got. You don't want either one of those. You're incomparable. You just notice when the ego's jealous. You just notice when the ego's envious. You just notice it. You celebrate somebody's good. Did you hear what happened to Joe, man? Joe got a raise that was beyond. Really? Oh, I'm so grateful for him. Did you hear about Joe? Boy, went to the doctor, man. He's had a perfect body temp. Everything is so healthy. Celebrate Joe. You hear about Sarah? She ran into some guy. It was like an instant love, soulmate kind of vibration. They're in love. They're getting married. They got plenty of money. Celebrate them. It becomes an activation that whenever you hear some good happening anywhere on the planet, you celebrate it so that you can come into that frequency You're not blocking the frequency through jealousy or envy. Anybody's good becomes an activation for you. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm so happy for them. Now, in the beginning, you might have a little pretense going on, but after a while, it'll take over and you really will be happy for somebody else. You'll be, oh my God, I'm so happy that happened for him. Mm-hmm. Couldn't have happened to a better person. That person really deserved it. Now you're not blocking your own good through jealousy or envy. You're amplifying it through celebration and thanksgiving. This brings us to this point. Gratitude and thanksgiving also become a practice, just like forgiveness, just like the vibration of willingness, the vibration of I am and I have used properly. You become thankful as a way of life. Now, it's coming up in our community. Sometimes mothers or dads would say to their kids, listen, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. But here's what the universe is saying. If you don't stop being grateful, I'm going to give you something to be grateful for. You don't stop being thankful, I'm going to give you something to be thankful for. Now, who demonstrated this? It was a guy by the name of Yeshua ben Joseph, standing in front of the tomb of Lazarus. He said, I'm thankful that thou hearest me always. Up-level the language. I'm thankful that the universe responds to my gratitude. Because God doesn't have ears. God doesn't have eyes like that. God's formless presence everywhere, total consciousness of intelligence and love and beauty. So Jesus was simply saying the language of his day, I'm so grateful that God hears me. He doesn't have ears. He has the consciousness that produced the ears. He is the consciousness. She is the consciousness. It is the consciousness that produced the ears. So we're saying, I'm so grateful that the universal law responds to me always. So gratitude is where you live. It starts as a practice, becomes a lifestyle, then it becomes just the way you live your life. So if you take these 10 or 11 cues that I've given you, and take the one that's jumping out at you right now, listen to this over and over and over again and keep going back until you develop within your life a vibration and a frequency and a momentum towards harmonizing prosperity, wealth, and abundance with the feeling tone that all of your needs are met. It's happening now. Feel it. Because it don't mean a thing if it don't have the feeling. Live long and prosper. It's within you. You can have it all because you already have it all. You're just setting it free. Wild, crazy intentionality. Right speech. This is Michael Beckwith signing out for now. You've been listening to a solo portion of Take Back Your Mind. You might as well listen over and over and over again until it's deeply embodied within you. All right? Have a beautiful day. Peace and dynamic blessings. Many of you have written letters about how much you really appreciate the Take Back Your Mind podcast and the life questions. So appreciate those letters. Now, our particular program here, these episodes, it's powered by spiritual purpose, but it also has powerful sponsorship. The primary sponsor is Agape International Spiritual Center. So everything that goes on here, Agape is behind it. So what I want you to do, I want you to support the Take Back Your Mind podcast. Go to agapelive.com, make a donation, put put a little indication that you're supporting the podcast in that donation. Or text the word give to 424-321-6243. Write the word podcast so we know you're supporting this wonderful program of Take Back Your Mind. The secondary sponsor is Neutralize. This is the company that actually produces my particular supplemental line called Adaptozen. I have the super greens, I have the Elevate fermented mushrooms, and a number of other products that are emerging. Just go to Neutralize.com, find Adaptozen, and you know what? Uplift your spirit, uplift your body. Remember to share all of this with your friends and support our wonderful sponsor. Have a beautiful day. Here we are, the time in our particular program where we're invited to go to some level of practice regarding everything that's been spoken about. The art and science of meditation, paying attention to that which is real until it becomes further embodied within us, and even being aware of that which isn't real or eternal so that it changes based on our observation. That's the observer effect. We've been talking about prosperity today, so we're going to feel our way into the frequency of abundance and prosperity. Close your eyes. Tap on the space between the eyebrows. Just tap it lightly. Say to yourself, I'm willing to see without my physical eyes. I'm willing to truly see without my physical eyes. Third time, I'm willing to see without my physical eyes. You place your hand back in your lap. Some of you may see some sensations. Some of you may see light. Some of you may just have a deeper feeling of your connection with the presence. But if you turn within with our hands on our lap facing downward as a sign of bringing heaven to earth, we rest in the rhythmic aspect of our breath. Be still and know. Now give yourself permission to feel in this moment that you are duly supported and loved and taken care of by Divine Mother, the Holy Presence, and that all of your needs are met in this moment. Be still and know. With every breath you take, let it be a talisman for the reminder that you're at the center of the universe, that you are an influx of all the good flowing through you right now. The abundance, the harmonizing prosperity, the wealth. You're at the center of the universe. It's all flowing through you right now. You're worthy because you know this. Say to yourself, I have all of my needs met. I have all my needs met. I have all of my needs met. Now give your breath permission to be a talisman. That every time you notice the body breathing, there's an amplification of the feeling tone of all needs met, beginning right now. Heart space. See the auric field of your heart space expanding in all directions simultaneously, from the front of your chest, the back of your chest, the sides. Notice what color the light is. That expand in infinite nature. Everyone that basks in this awareness, knowing or unknowing, is up-leveled. This energy is cascading everywhere. You feel you have way more than enough. You have more than enough. Even now. We're available to the overflow consciousness. As I speak the word for each and every one of us, that we may be free today, and that our subtle bodies may carry the capacity to have more cosmic energy flow through us. Prosperity is the order of our day. Ease, grace, and dignity without one negative incident. And it is all happening now. And so it is. Amen. Your time is very valuable, so I want to thank you for tuning in to Take Back Your Mind. If you want to submit a life question, please do so. Email us at podcast@michaelbeckwith.com, and perhaps one day I'll be answering your question that will touch the lives of so many. If you've enjoyed the show, you might as well submit a 5-star review. You might as well tell your friends and family. Let's spread the love. Until we meet again, maintain your awareness. Take back your mind. Because when you take back your mind, you take back your life. Peace and blessings.
Become still and listen.